Hey there, Mercedes here from PrettyWebs.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to reproduce a watercolor painting effect using only an image and Photoshop. So I have this image here that I wanted to show you quickly just so you get an idea of what we're doing. So what we want to simulate here is the paint puddling effect that you get from watercolor and still maintain some detail. So this is going to be somewhat of an abstract style where we're capturing the mood of a flower, but not necessarily, realistic painting that you would get like with oils or something like that. So in order to achieve this effect in Photoshop, we'll be using layering, blurring, and some Photoshop filters. And then as we go, I'm going to kind of go back and forth and show you some images so you can kind of get the idea of how this effect can work for you with different images, because the settings that I'm giving you here are specifically for this image that I'm creating. But I want you to understand what I'm doing so that you can recreate this with any image. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a new file. I'm going to go to File, New, and I'm going to use these settings, 1920 by 1080. We'll change our resolution to 72. We're in RGB mode, and we're going to click Create. All right, from here we're going to go ahead and import our image. So I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded, and I'm just going to grab the image that I want to use, which is this one, and I'm going to place that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn this just so that it matches the length of the canvas, and I'm going to stretch it out about right there. It actually doesn't even have to be this big. So now that you have the image in place, when I brought it in, it automatically brought it in as a smart object. So you can tell that by this little icon right here. If you dragged your image in or it just isn't a smart object, make sure to right click and choose Convert to Smart Object so that you're working with a smart object, because we're going to be adding some filters that will look different on different images. So you're going to want to be able to adjust the filters to work best with the image that you're working with. That's going to be important for this one. We're going to come up to Filter, Filter Gallery. Inside of Filter Gallery, you're going to see, you're going to have all of these folders right here. We're going to be working in Artistic, and we're going to be using Dry Brush for this one. So I'm going to select Dry Brush. Now the settings for the brush, I want to explain just a little bit. For our brush size, we have this set all the way up to 10. The larger the brush is, the simpler the watercolor effect will be, meaning you're going to get broader strokes, which is what you would typically see with watercolor. So because we want our colors to blend together as much as possible, we'll set the brush to the maximum value of 10. For the brush detail, again, we're going for blurred colors and a more abstract look. So we're going to set the brush detail to 0. This controls the width of the edges. So the higher the number here, the more detail the image will have. So if you're working with things like faces or images requiring more detail, you may want to increase the number here, but it may affect the watercolor feel. So just be careful with this one. For our image, we're going to leave it at 0. And the same thing with the texture. The minimum texture is going to be 1. So for watercolor, we want the paint to look as flat as possible. So we want to set this to the minimum setting of 1. So we're going to leave these settings, and I'm going to click OK. And I wanted to show this to you on another example here. So let me turn this one off. I'm going to turn this on. So right here we have a face that we're working with, and you can see that this face has a lot of detail. So when you're creating a watercolor like this, it's best to use this for a landscape style or something that you want to look more abstract. When you get into details like this, fine details like her face, it gets much harder to see that. So if you like this effect, that's fine, but I just want you to keep that in mind. So here, let me come into my filters, and I'll show you how I set this one up. So I have my brush set, my strokes set to 7 because I wanted smaller strokes for her face. And again, you can see it didn't quite get the mouth the way I wanted it. I can take up the detail, but you're going to start losing some of the watercolor effect in other parts of the image. If you are working with the face, make sure that it's a bigger, more of a portrait style rather than farther away like this one, or that you're working with landscapes and things like that. Anyhow, we'll get back to this. All right, so right here we have our first filter. That was our dry brush filter. Now that we have that, we can come back up to filter, and we want to make this a little bit more blurry. So we're going to come here to blur, Gaussian blur. We're going to have 2 layers here. So I'm going to leave this radius at 0.8, and you just for yours, you can adjust it, you know, to whatever looks best. You don't want it too blurry, but we do want to blur those colors together a little bit. So I'm going to click OK on 0.8. So we have 2 filters in here right now. Now what I'm going to do is right click and duplicate this layer, and I'm going to call the next one detail, and I'm going to click OK. So I have detail up here. I'm going to turn that one off, and I'm going to rename this one blur. Okay, with our detail layer turned off, so with this blur layer selected, we're going to come back up to filter. We're going to go to sharpen, and we're going to click on unsharp mask. With the unsharp mask, we're going to leave our amount at 100%, our radius 20 pixels, and our threshold is going to be 0. Again, these numbers are going to depend a lot on your image, the colors, the detail, all of that stuff in the image that you're working with. So you can fine tune all of this stuff, but in general, you'll probably stay around, you know, these settings right here. I'm going to click OK. Now you can set all of these settings, kind of use these as a baseline. And then once you have your image, you know, with all of these settings on here, come back and fine tune those as well. It just depends on how you want to work. A lot of times it's really difficult to see a lot of this stuff when you're applying all of the filters. And in fact, like this unsharp mask, we can move down here just to give it more of that watercolor effect that I want to get. So we're going to set these up like this. For the blur layer, our Gaussian blur is going to be on top, and then we have our dry brush layer, and then we have unsharp mask that's going to be at the bottom. And this unsharp mask layer is just meant to bring out the color. It still looks really nice, but it looks a little bit too real to be that watercolor. So we're just adding a little more detail, a little more pops of color with that unsharp mask. Next, we're going to come over to our adjustment layers, and we're going to choose a hue and saturation layer. We're going to click on this little icon to clip that to the blur layer right there. And we're going to use this to increase the saturation even more of this. I'm going to leave it about I'll leave mine at 40. And again, these numbers are going to be different for most images. So you're not going to touch the hue at all, and you're not going to touch the lightness. It's just the saturation that we're bringing up. So we're just trying to bring up the pops of color in the photo. And we'll go ahead and leave that as it is. Now that's clipped into our blur layer. All right, now we can start working with this layer right here. So we're going to turn on the detail layer and make sure that it is selected. And we're going to come up to filter, stylize, and we're going to choose, where are you? Find edges. That's going to give us stronger edges. Where you'll see a lot of watercolor has a lot of puddling around the edges, where the color is much more saturated and darker. So that's what we're trying to get with the find edges here. But we don't want it to look like this. So what we're going to do is come over here to the mode, and we're going to change that. So this is going to be different for, like, I'm working with the dark image, so I'm going to use this one, color burn. But if you're working with a lighter image, you might want to use soft light, you know, or one of these down here. But for us, we'll use color burn because it is dark. Okay, so that's pretty much it for our filters. So I'm just going to grab this top one. I'm going to hold the shift key on my keyboard, and I'm going to grab the bottom. That means we're grabbing the detail, the hue and saturation adjustment layer, and also the blur layer. I'm going to press Command and the letter G, or Control on a PC, the letter G, in order to group those. This is our watercolor. And I'm going to change the blend mode for this also. We're going to change that to multiply. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to grab this, just select this background layer, and I'm going to add another adjustment layer. And this is just going to be a solid color. You can see how the background color is really affecting the color of the flowers. And this is what we want. We want the color of the paper to kind of come through in the image itself, because when you're creating watercolor, that's exactly what's going to happen. We're trying to get, you know, some of that color in there. So we're going to use a little bit of a lighter color. I'm going to use D4C 8B6. Okay, now I'm going to come back up to this watercolor layer, and I'm going to add a mask to that watercolor layer. I'm going to hit the B on my keyboard to get a brush. I'm using just a default from my default brushes, a soft round brush, and I'm just gonna kind of go around this to fade out the edges. I just want to keep mainly the flowers themselves. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm going to press the letter V on my keyboard to select it. I'm going to move it over here to the side. I'm going to add some text right here. So the effect I'm trying to get here is like a vintage card, or just a vintage effect in general. So what I'm going to do, because this is a little too smooth, I'm going to grab a texture, and I'm going to show you really quickly where I got that from. This website right here, it's called transparenttextures.com, and I just typed in paper, and you know, it gives you a whole bunch of different styles. This is a really nice style right here, but the one I chose was this one right here. It's called paper, just a basic paper style, but a lot of these would look really nice. Something like this, the natural paper, fibers, all of that stuff would look really nice for this. So I just wanted to show you this resource. These are all free transparent textures that you can use in your project, and they have so many of them. You can try them with different colors and you know, just to see what's going to look good on your project. But anyhow, I just wanted to show you that. And then also for the image that we're using, that's going to be this one right here. It's from unsplash.com. Of course, I'll go ahead and leave links to everything down in the description, but I just wanted to show you the images. All I did was type in colorful flowers, and this is the image that I got. So just wanted to show you those quickly, those resources. Now that I have that texture, I went ahead and downloaded it. I'm going to come here to File, Place Embedded, and I'm going to go to where I have that and hit Place. Now it's going to place it right here in the middle. I'm just going to make this really big. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. It doesn't look really nice at this point. We're going to go ahead and change the blend mode here to, we'll go ahead and leave it at screen. And I'm going to bring the opacity down to about 60%. This texture is going to be over the entire image. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my text. So I'm going to come back to this one. I have this quote here that I was using. I'm going to duplicate this into my Untitled 3, which is the one that we're working in. And I'm going to turn on the quote, put it underneath that watercolor and all of that, just so that it, you know, we get that texture on this, on the text as well. And we have that nice vintage watercolor look that you can use for quotes or cards or really anything. If you want more tutorials like this one, make sure to click on one of the images up on the screen right now. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like. And if you don't want to miss new videos, make sure to subscribe to this channel and visit prettywebs.com for more design resources and tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching.